Good morning. Aho. Aho. Well, I started a little late. It was cold. I had to start the fire. I had to do this, had to do that. I was going to put it on the old live chat, but too much trouble. But I had a very interesting dream. So, my little series of 40 days and 40 nights, we're up to day 14 or 15, somewhere around there. And so we're getting on. Almost another 5 or 6 will be right in the middle of the window. And my real dream last night was about that what's coming is not something political. It's not Donald Trump or war with China or Russia or any of those, because the powers that shouldn't be, the hidden hand, they're manipulating everything, right? They're telling everything, they don't let anything go down except for what's in our subconscious minds, what's in our superconscious mind, what's in our id. These are not things. They can try to put it in a box, with fear and distraction and convenience, but they can't really turn it black. They can't do that. Because the light is right there. And the light and the dark have to live together, right? So my dream last night was quite interesting because, after my last night's live chat, I'm going inside because it's cold, and I'm going to sip on really worse than cowboy coffee. So here's my yummy dinner that I'm cooking for my neighbors. Because, if you got good food or good anything, you should share it, A lot of people are like, oh, I can't share this with that person, blah, 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 blah. I share everything. Now, there are certain things that, I wouldn't share my diabetes medicine with just anybody. If they needed it, maybe, yes, but, I kind of need that to live. Let's see. And where's the glasses to look at what you guys are saying? Because you're right there. You jump right on, kids. Very good. Okay, put on another pair of glasses. Let's see if I can. Good morning. Very good morning. Hey, dear. Tipperary Mountains. Yes, Tipperary. I love Tipperary. Big hugs to you. So, I had that purple light going through my brain last night in my good night Irene kind of whoops. I need the swirly guys. Anyway, is that swirly enough for you? Woo! Got a little dizzy there. Gotta watch out for that. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So, I went to bed. I watched my DVD machine is crapping out. I can't do anything except play the first thing that's on the DVD. So I was watching, you guys, any of you ever seen the TV show on science TV, sci-fi? It's called Stargate, right? And what's very interesting with, there's a guy named Stephen Green, North Carolina, 91 to 96. And that's when Asheville was really the bomb because there was nobody there except really amazing people. On the dark day, you contemplate going into the darkness. Thoughts of horses can they possess? Well, nothing can hurt you, and nothing can possess you unless you invite it in. And whatever seems really dark and dank and really scary can't stand humor. At the worst, monster, if you laugh at it. I mean, the story I told yesterday about the Lakota story about, consumption, right? The monster of consumption, right? At the end, they were laughing at that monster as they, look at you, you're down in that hole. Ha ha ha, you think you're such a badass. Well, if you did something badass and came after them, yes, that would have been a problem. But I grew up with my grandmother. And then around 6 or 7, I was given back to my family. And so I was very blessed to not have suffered the slings and arrows of my whole family. And, they were like a pack of feral wolves. So when I came back, I wasn't surrounded by my grandma's unconditional love. I wasn't, my father in his, hypoglycemic rages and his, my mom's, cold, kook, Nazi triple Capricorn self, and my brothers and sisters who were trying, who grew up around it, and so they were kind of damaged by it. And my mother used to call my brother, what did she call him? Smiling Sam and Weeping Willie. Well, duh. If you were, put in post-traumatic stress, you would be, kind of schizophrenic, but, my folks didn't quite pick up on any of that. Anyway, bottom line, I get back, and I'm being me, and being me is like almost being invisible. Don't really scream and yell. I observe. I figure out what my best plan is, and I go that way. But that seemed to not work too much with my insane family. So at night, when I had to take a piss, I got scared. So I didn't get out of bed. I went to bed. So at 7, so they're sending me to shrinks, and the shrinks are morons. And my grandma takes me to a movie. We go see the movie Forbidden Planet, right? That's Prosperous in Shakespeare's plays. And in the Greeks, it's there too, and the Sumerians, it's there too. It's the smartest guy around. The king needs him, so he can't kill him. So he puts him on an island and, gives him everything he needs, and every time he needs him, he goes gets him, right? So the bottom line is, so she takes me to this movie, and it's a modernized one. You should go see it. Everyone should go see Forbidden Planet, made in the 50s. It's with Leslie Nielsen, the guy who makes all the fart jokes. Anyway, so so we go see this movie, and it's that movie. And so these guys are, it's like the 25th century, and they're flying all over the place with their star warps, and they cruise into this solar system because there was supposed to have been, some guys we put there, a bunch of egghead scientists looking at this ancient, it's like guys going to the pyramids, right? And so when they finally cruise in there, they don't do it very subtly. They come in zipping and then hit the brakes, and their gravitational field is so strong, it causes the moon to go in front of the sun, causing an immediate solar eclipse on this planet. So, that's like, hey, if you want to say, hey, here I am, that's what these morons did. So the guy gets on a race, who are you morons? And, and they say, hey, we're from the Federation, we're checking up, and we don't have to check up on us, we're fine. And they said, well, we are morons because we burned out our star drive, and unless you help us, we're going to be here forever bothering you. And he said, okay, well, land at these coordinates. So they do. Mobius shows up in a Lincoln Continental, driven by Robbie the robot, and his hot daughter, right? That's all that's left of the people who were left, the hundreds of guys who went to study this. Anyway, long story short, this advanced race had made a device that could instantaneously create anything you thought. Bing, a billion tons of gold. Bing, whatever, What they didn't, they thought they were so hot shots, so developed, so whoop-de-doo. They didn't figure out that their id was still somewhat crass. And so the id took control of the machine and in one night killed everyone. So Morbius, because he's been there forever, and he kind of stuck his head into one of this highly developed clan's IQ booster. Bing, he went up to what they were, but not. He wasn't them. He was still human. Still had empathy. Still had love for his wife and his daughter. But not so much for everybody else who wanted to go back to Earth, and he blew them all away. And he didn't do it on purpose. His id did. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on. So if you're worrying about scary monsters, right? So my grandma takes me to this movie, and we go see it in a movie theater that's got like 3,000 seats. And we used to go every Wednesday, at 4 when the first show was, and there was no one there. So we could have any seat, we could do anything we wanted. And she puts me up in the front row, right in the middle, where I am like looking at this movie screen like this, right? And after we went to see a movie, we would go to Shras for a Sunday. Anyway, so she said, "So, Albert, what do you think of the movie?" I said, "Grandma, my neck is killing me. Why did you make me sit up? And you sat in the back. Why did you make me?" And she said, "So what did you see? What did you think?" And, she's the queen of movies, so she looks at movies on not just like, Tab Hunter's dating Sue and so. No, she looks at the script, who wrote what, cinematographer. She's really, that's where I got all my chops on looking at films. Anyway, so I go, well, the only thing I could really tell you about, otherwise, because the whole time my neck was killing me, was when the monster finally came at the end of the movie, I could see that it was like a cartoon, animated, meaning they scratched it on the frame. And this is the first movie they used 70 millimeter film. So the each frame was like gigantic, so guys could animate, and I was, that's an animated. So she goes, "That's what monsters are." She goes, "We're going to go back after we finish Sunday and see the 5:30 show, and we'll sit in the back so we can see the movie really good. And you'll see that, it's a scary monster, but it's just scratched on the thing, so you're not going to get scared. And now, when you're in bed and you don't get out and you pee in the bed because you're scared the scary monster's there, just remember it's just etched on the frame of your reality. And that's what scary monsters mean. I have met some pretty scary things in my day. So, when you think you're turning the dark side and going Darth Vader, look, Darth Vader came back. Brought him back with love, right? So, and the most scary thing is the image of you as the monster. In these new Star Wars, Han Solo and Leia's son is the scary monster, and he is conflicted. Thing is not to be conflicted, not to be scared, and that's what I'm going to talk about later today, is that all of these things that are being thrown in our face in news and media and right there, I mean, they're going to collapse the dollar, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, there's environmental catastrophes, one after another, the fires in California, because we're still going to have snow hurricanes on the East Coast. And one of them's going to wipe out the coast of New Jersey and then go up the Hudson and destroy Manhattan and everything and obliterate the first nuclear power plant that Lilco built up there on the Hudson. It'll pop it in my mind. But that thing has been around for 60 years. It's still working today because of what Ronald Reagan did. And the sucker is so fragile, it's like an old China teacup. Indian Point, right? Boy, the Indians were pissed off because they put it right on a sacred place. So these morons, they're not stupid. They're morons, but they're not stupid. So they do all these things within the context of ceremony, and I'm talking about the magic bankers, the Sumerians. We are Babylon. When you read, go read your freaking Bible. Go read, the end of times part of the Bible, which was stuck on later on. But it's exactly what's happening. I mean, everything's a metaphor. You can take it apart. I mean, I have, and looked at the kings and who are what and what's going on. Everything is right there. But none of that shit matters, because all that matters is love's co-creation, right? So I started this off with, meaning giving my blessings to all our relations. And that's what we have to do every morning. Everything we do for love. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to stop here just for a moment and read, because you guys have been texting like crazy. Dark day. Yeah, I'm telling you, just make yourself smile, Wear Hawaiian, that's why I wear Hawaiian shirts all the time. Invited anything at all, but I contemplated. Contemplating is inviting it in. And, so they come visit you. I've had guys end up at the end of my bed. I kind of, sat up and said, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome home. Sit on the end of the bed. Let's talk." And they would kind of look at each other and go, "Hey, how come this guy isn't frozen?" Because I'm kidding around. And, now, I have to say this. With all my love, I protect myself and all my family and all my relations. Nanase naho. Let nothing from anyone's subconscious, superconscious mind, or id, do any harm to anyone. Okay, guys, you're all protected. I've subscribed to every one of your YouTube family. Such a respect, and there are no mistakes. Everyone here is meant to be here. That's no kidding. That's why I've let go of the idea of everyone coming and visit me. I mean, it'll happen, but it doesn't have to happen. You are visiting me right here on this platform. The deeper intent in all matters. Don't worry. The spiritual hierarchy will protect. Exactly. And I just gave everyone a little blessing, so you're all good. So, go forth with love and happiness. What is happiness? When you make others happy. Do it in every little way, Pick up the ball for the kid. Give an old lady a flower from the bundle you're carrying. Yep. You like that movie, Jamie, right? And it's all about, it's Shakespeare, it's the Greeks thrown into flying saucers. And that's what I'm talking about. My everything we had to put into context to where we came from, who we are, and what's really going on. Most of the time, a deeper intent is very, very good. But one time, an exact moment of my spiritual level, I don't think they've been cared, but I still didn't invite. Exactly. I mean, these things knock on your door. It's like the Nazis. Knock, knock, knock. Can I come in? It's like the big bad boy. I'll huff it, I'll puff it, I'll blow your house in. No. And the thing you keep them out is with prayer. The Our Father is the strongest prayer that I know in English. And a good joke. Get, gunslingers have 2 6 guns and a bunch of bullets in their holster. Go find your favorite joke that makes anyone laugh. Drugs, alcohol, opens the door. No kidding. And so does, anything excessive. I mean, I can tell you, I'm Mr. Moderation, but the Aquarian is Mr. Moderation until they're not. And then they go hog wild. So, when I was working for the Desperate Lawyers, I went hog wild on being Mr. Hedonist, Titty bars, everything. You name it, I did it. Except, I didn't do drugs because I just can't do drugs. My spiritual essence, my guardian angel, and the fence that is around me. I just can't do that. I can smoke a little herb, just a little. I mean, because if I smoke too much, I just want to be a potato and eat cookies, which is not good. Just a little bit, like Tally said, just a little bit. Anyway, and I have no money, so I can't, go that way anymore. But when I did, boy, did I ever. But I enjoyed, if you're going that way, go hog wild and enjoy, meaning with these ugly bags of water with only 5 senses, enjoy them, Don't be, when I was a Catholic, I remember the first time I had sex, I was 16. And this girl, okay, that was what my dream was about last night. That pretty much I've had many girlfriends, and many affairs and many interludes and many sparks and all of the above. But about 25 women in my life were meant to be in my life to make sure I went in a certain direction, right? And when I was between 16 and 27, when I met Donna Ann, all the women I was with were older than me by at least 5 to 20 years. It was I was 19, so 5 years on 90 still looked pretty good. Even 25 on top of 90. All these women were like hot, hot, hot. They all understood that when you're having fun, have a good time. But when it's time to serve love's co-creation, well, that's the most important. And they put that in my mind. So, the old Cronr was one of those. And the girl in Dublin, I keep telling this story. I don't know if it really... So you guys in Ireland, tell me about this. Have you been to Dublin? I mean, Dublin's totally gone. Meaning, as soon as they cut down the oaks on O'Connell Street and put up all that European crap, modern art, the soul of Ireland was kind of, I mean, it's still there. You go to West Coast, go to the beehives, and, it's still there. You go to the stone circles, it's still there. You go hang out with the Rona, that's still there. How idea it was. Yeah, because you let yourself in for it. Meaning, you see, so the scary monster, right, in the movie, but I sat up in the front thing and saw it was scratched on the frame. Sitting back, a couple hours later, watching it with Grandma, and there were more people in the theater, and they were going, "Oh my God!" Because they didn't see that it was scratched on the frame. So everything that is evil and bad that happens to you, and that happens to everyone, not only that we let it in the door, we embrace it because we think we're guilty. We think we deserve to be put in a concentration camp and taken care of. There are many people, and there have been a number of movies about this, where they were in the concentration camp and every day they lived in joy. It's like when I was in the seminary and they punished me. Okay, you're going to work in the kitchen. Oh boy, I'm going to work in the kitchen. I love working in the kitchen. And then I got to know everybody who worked there and realized these people are slaves. I got to do something about this, and I did. I started a union. I was frigging 13 and I started a union because, I had been involved with the local 3. I knew what unions were and how good they were. And I got a hold of the food crafts guys from my buddies in the IBEW and turned it on to these guys. That made a big change. My little pebble made a big change. Then they said, well, now you're gonna not only work in the kitchen, you're going to wait. I mean, they were taking every free minute I had and made me work. Oh, wow, I love cooking, but I love waiting even more. So I would have a little piece of a plastic tape and I put it over my nose like I was had a mustache, and I would put a towel over my arm, and I would carry the tray in one hand, not like, I would be like a French waiter, and I would zoom around, and I would be the best waiter. I mean, all the teachers wanted me to be their waiter because they got their food while it was hot and the best and all the rest. And one day, this senior put his leg out to trip me. I had a big I had two big 1 gallon tubs of oatmeal, steaming hot. And this guy puts his leg out to trip me. And I kind of skip up in the air and come down with both my feet on his leg. And his leg was like, was fucked for the rest of his life, right? And he was a senior, and he was like the star hockey player. And that was the end of our team's hockey thing for that season. And then his buddies got up, and I just tipped this tray, and these two, gallon things of steaming, boiling oatmeal went on them like glue napalm. And 6 of those guys ended up in the hospital. They had to be in the burn ward for the rest of that, So then they put me out. You'd think they would get rid of me, but no. No. This is what I did after they beat the ever-living crap out of me. I said, okay, this is war. And I went at it full bore. But I got every little nuance of fear, anxiety, and anger, and I'm going to get that motherfucker. The thing I learned most about my experience in the seminary was you can't fight City Hall. And what you can do is make fun of it, and go around it, go underneath it, above it, and the best thing you can do is inject the antibody of their fear into them, so they self-destruct. Now, you don't have to kill them. So I don't like, I see some jerk, I just get out of his way, because I know a few blocks down he's going to walk out and a bus is going to run him over, So that's what you need to do with esoteric and occult fear. It's like, it's as illusionary as everything else. Now, it's really, 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 really old, so it's got a lot of juice in it. But, you don't you get out of the way. You have to, there's two things. Genetically, people who are, adepts like you guys, you're genetically there, meaning there are tracers. When I was at Duke in '68, and I was involved with the SEAL Corporation, and we were basically researching what the Nazis did, that movie, Overlord. That's exactly what the fuck we were doing at Duke, but a lot more sophisticated. The Nazis were more like doing it with a sledgehammer. So, because, that's all they had. They were given the 411 from Dominion Dimensionals and extraterrestrials who wanted to throw a monkey wrench into Love's plan. And those are the same guys who are the fallen angels. But they're all made by love, so there's nothing wrong with them. They're just a little more childish. We can be the grown-ups in the room, right? And actually, it's a lot more fun, So all the women, and how did I get into that thing? I went to, I was skating just out of the clutches of the draft boards. How did I do it? Traveled all over America, hanging out in colleges, hiding in plain sight. And it wasn't until I, drew attention to myself that they said, oh, he's over there. And by the time they got there, I'd be gone. Oh, he was just here. And that's what you have to build that effect. You have to use your genetic predilections of intuition to see what's, so things don't get in your grill. But those spirits came at you because you let them get in your grill. Yeah, if you can see them 3 blocks away, just get out of the way. Not be there when they show up. That's what to do. Yes, you got to make fun of it, and fun with it. A lot of people would say, well, look at me. I have been on the skip, on the bop, my whole friggin' life. I've traveled the world that way. And, which was, it brought really interesting things my way, but, I didn't settle down. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. I'd be so boring. Yeah, you were tired. Yes, Jane? I'm happy you're using Mayor Baba's expression. Yes. And Mayor Baba got it from Jesus because I think Mayor Baba was Jesus. Good day out, good day, sunshine, good day. Yeah, I got to get a coffee machine here. You know, I'm drinking. You know, I'm putting my socks in hot water because it tastes kind of like coffee. Moderation. Yes, you know, moderation in everything. You know. Especially, I mean, masturbation's okay. You can do it. It's not a problem. You know, we're designed, our hand does it very nicely, you know, woo, you know, but not 40 times a day. And it's actually much better when you do it with somebody else that you care about. You know, all my paramours, they were big fans of that technique. And when they realized, like my first wife used to call me a girl, not in a bad way, but she goes, you know, you do this better than any other girl I know. So, kitty bars for all cats. That's right. I used to have, you know, that's why I had my dumpster nightclubs, you know, because that is exactly what they were. And one of them, it was called, what was it called? The Raccoon Lounge, right? And I drew this painting behind the bar of this raccoon that kind of looked like me. And the raccoon was surrounded by these alley cat girls who were hot, hot, hot. And they were really in charge. They were just letting the raccoon, because he was, you know, bigger than they were and was put all those kitty cat girls in together. They were my what I used to call my chorus of 9. And because when I was, you know, really learned how to remote view and to have lucid dreams, my paramours in there were alley cats, right? And I had you know, I'm a dog boy, right? You think I don't know, but I had kitty cats. And I've had 2 cats in my life, not mine, but the women I lived with that were mine. And one of the reasons those women broke up with me is that the cats listen to me like they were dogs. I mean, they couldn't get those cats to do anything. But I could say, hey, go sit down over there. And they would go sit down over there, or stop doing that, or go get that mouse. You know, they would go do it, you know, because we were buds. I would always take care of them, right? So don't feel the fear. That's right. Finally got my birth chart finished. Good. Did you do it yourself, or did you have some high person? Kitty cat, Schnooky, Schnooks. I love big, black, furry faced punchkins. Better than sex. Yeah, well, you know, everything in its place, you know. Good. I'm glad. We should all, you know, forget about carbon. Plant more friggin' trees. My Irish. Tahane, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Well, Tahane is a high elder name. I know that. I'd have to get out my books or go into the Akashic Records. And guys, you all need to be practicing going into the Akashic Records because it's better than Google. And if you go back, I don't know, now it's probably 20 YouTubes, but it's how to set yourself free. You know, go take a look. It's a guided meditation I do, and all you got to do is turn it on, lie down, sit, close your eyes, and listen. Yeah, most oaks were used for naval vessels, but the oaks in O'Connell Street in Dublin were used to hang Irish. warriors. That's the snakes that St. Patrick got out of Irish were the Celts and the Druids and the Cronrs. Yeah, the Gulf of Ireland, my favorite. Born in Toronto. I love that town. Yep. Sláinte. Let's see. Sounds like interesting book. Met Frank in Dublin just before he died. Beautiful soul. There were a lot of poets, and that's the home of bards is Ireland. Please provide me with your email address so I may reach. Okay, I'm going to let it all hang out. So my email address is thedudeawake42@gmail. My blog is xratted.blogspot.com. There's 3/4 of one of my novels, just one of them. And I'd love some of you guys to read it and give me some feedback, right? And if you give me your, I'm on WhatsApp, if you go on there and find me, we can talk. Time to point out this is the most people I've ever seen. Yeah, we're getting bigger. I'm glad. Maybe all you guys are morning people. Maybe I have to shunt my my thing into morning people. But I'll keep trying to do it one in the morning, one at night, for both of you, for morning and evening folk. And listen, kids, so I've been here almost 2 weeks, and John Birmingham, what's his name, is coming back. He's coming back Wednesday-ish, or who knows when he's coming back, but that's when I think he's coming back. And, it's now getting really cold, and hope he doesn't throw me out in a snowdrift. But I don't think he will, because I'm going to start. He's been begging me, can we do more videos? Can we do? And I say, yes. And what I'm going to do with John. So what is John, right? John is an antenna. John is one of these genetic empathets, one of these people who feel everything. And it drives him nuts because he's a Libra. I mean, there's no place he can find balance because he's being done this to. And then if he takes, coffee, he's like off to the races. So what I'm going to do with him is I'm going to say, okay, John, we're going to do this. And I'm going to put the camera on because one of the reasons he gets upset is when you guys hear a story you like on John's channel. And then because he's been doing it since the beginning. So he's got, a few thousand followers, not followers, subscribers, This is family. He's got subscribers. Anyway, they jump on to see what foolish shit he's going to do. And there I was telling stories. And they, wow, this is kind of cool. And so like within weeks, 60,000, 100,000, 200,000 people were looking at my stories. Now you guys, as one of you said, are here for a reason. You are my chorus. You're not all girls, but you have more, there's more feminine hormones in this crew, boy or girl, than any place around, because you're all loving, empathetic people, right? Let's see. Yep, Angel's Ashes, great book. Cool. Not believe how it was. Brooklyn, that's one of my, Brooklyn, then Ireland. Yeah, that's how I went. I went from Williamsburg to Glendore. Is anyone in Ireland know Glendore? It's just above Skibbereen. It's like between Skibbereen and Galway. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little fishing village. Yeah, he was. Yep. Right. We're all supposed to live that long. Because how else can you get to know anything? I mean, I've always been an empath. I've always been, there's nobody who's psychic. It's just that you're tuned, right? And I had the antenna. And I had this, luck of being in the right place at the right time, synchronicity. And, but it wasn't until I was in my 50s that I kind of, I stopped being the schmuck that I was always lovable, and I was always boy, this guy's smart, but that doesn't mean shit, I was still a kind of a schmuck. Hey, good old Farrell. Joseph P. Props. Yeah, I would, he was from that time. I mean, he was from, being a Nazarene wasn't meant that his cul-de-sac was on Nazarene Place. No, it was a spiritual entity. That's why he was a Nazarene. So was Mayor Baba. So was Vishnu. So was Buddha. And you know what guru is, kids? It's the Vedic word for teacher. It's not God or Moses or any of the above. I am your honorable teacher. That's why I am your sensei Albab. And my greatest pleasure is to make you happy, to make you the best you can be. People go, why are you with, what's his name? Well, because he needs a friend, first off. Plus, he bought my school, and I kind of want to help him be safe, right? And third, he has great potential, and if he could ever balance his shit and use his God-given gifts and his talent, he would be off the hook. So that's why I'm here, because that's what I do. I'm in the background. I help people be all they can be. Where do you think they got that saying from? Okay. I spell things wrong all the way. You know what spelling is, kids? It's a spell. Before spelling, everything was oral, and everyone had to get on the same page. That means to listen to that story, you had to go into state. And the powers that shouldn't be didn't want people easily going into state, because then they'd see what schmucks those guys were. And then they couldn't hide behind the curtain of illusion. Meaning you can see those schmucks. It's like that movie, They Live. You put on the sunglasses, you can see them, right? And what is the sunglasses? Humor. Yep. We're doing good here. Mayor Baba stated, if you love Jesus, then forget Mayor Baba. Right, because he is. And all other incarnations. Don't diffuse your attention. Exactly, don't diffuse your attention. And that's what we all do. We diffuse our attention. And I've done it my whole life. What was I doing? I was distracting my attention. When I got involved in the anti-nuclear movement, the No Nukes and the Stop Shoreham campaign, and all of the above, and that ended up with Adbusters, and then ended up with Occupy. I was known in that crowd as the Minister of Fun, because my strategy was that, hey, if this ain't fun, it's not going to be successful. And that's true. But then I went through one of my old books and looked up the etymology of Minister of Fun. And minister is the controller, owner with a jealous heart. That's a minister. And fun is complete and ultimate distraction to destruction. So I said, oops, I'm going to take that off my business card. So I no longer call myself the Minister of Fun. I am Sensei Albab. Man, and I was that Minister of Fun until I was probably 56, when I looked that one up and said, holy fuck, I can't be this. Okay, I have to go to work in the morning, I think. So, okay, I'll do both, morning and evening, because I love you guys, right? And, you're all over the universe, so my morning is somebody else's afternoon, it's somebody's midnight, so I understand. That's the term, around midnight. That's when amazing things happen. And it's always around midnight somewhere on the world. And that's why amazing things can always happen wherever you are. A bloke. I am glad you're a bloke. And an Anglo-Canadian living in South Ireland. Great, you're lucky. Boy, which part? Jamie isn't a girl name either. I know. I mean, I call everyone guys, and I do that on purpose. A little. It's a holdover from being the distractive minister of them. Come on, girls, let's go. I mean, I would, when I worked in the union, I was local 3, and they made me a union, not union boss, but rep. That was what I was. So I had authority where I worked, but I was only friggin' 20. And all these guys were in their 40s and 50s, and they just kind of had that job because they made a lot of money and they didn't have to work too hard. And they could, be an asshole boss. So I would, my crews, come on, girls, let's go to work. And when I had girls as my crews, come on, guys, let's go. So I'm not too gender specific because I believe we're all fucking human beings. So now I had to fill out a lot of forms to get even a crumb from the so-called safety net. And that's going away, because, those rich guys have to have their tax break, So anyway, welfare, which, Bill Clinton got rid of, wasn't there so people could have more and more babies and take advantage of the taxpayer. No. The majority, I was a social worker. The majority of people on welfare were people who, were on death's door. And or had, were taking care of people's kids, no. They wanted just more people in jail, that's all. Help and get more, let's see, what was it, where is it? Hey, Al, a bloke, like, biker called Alice, yes. Help him get more viewers on the video. I want money, so I hope he lets you stay. John Boy, yes, that will be his bottom line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set his true self free. I'm going to make him happy. And that will, you think you think my little YouTube channel is informative? It is, because I'm talking to the chorus. You are my family. John's got, I don't know, 100 and something thousand, subscribers. That's a lot of folk, which contacts the, whatchamacallit, all of the bots plug into him. And that's why a lot of people, he puts up a YouTube and 150 people look at it. And he's just like, hi, I'm Jimmy, oh, look at my nose, We talk about something interesting, and, hey, I'm thrilled at having 17 of you. But, at least 50 of you read it within 24 hours, which is a blessed thing. And all things are as it should be. So that's why I'm still here. So I'm going to open John Boy like a can of worms and basically have him really balance himself and be happy. And then he's a channeler. I mean, every time I try to get him in, he can go in a state like that, but he can't stay there because the little rabbit and squirrel and cockroach in his brain are, blah, 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 and he just goes, oh, girls fart shit, motherfucker. He'll do, I'm going to help him get rid of that, because every time he gets close to being his true self, this psycho bitch in his head, his ex, breaks it up. And so I'm going to help him because he has gone and stayed down in Texas for almost 2 weeks, if not. And that he's called me up a few times, and there is a change in him. So I think this is going to be interesting. Oh. Oh. Good, Asheville. Even though Asheville is now the hipster moron place of the world, I still have a lot of friends there. I still have a lot of, I was there for 10 years. I mean, I know things about Asheville that most people don't know because they've already forgot it. So, yeah, baby, get a hold of me. Go on. Anyone who wants to talk to me, go on my Gmail, and we contact person to person. I get your phone number, you get my phone number. The Dude Awake, 42. Sir, from Rosa. Is that a Latina? I lived in Spanish Harlem and Hell's Kitchen. Yep. Let's see. Really? Yeah, people knew it was going to happen when it was built. I mean, when we were building it, we talked about it. Yeah, he does, but if I can keep him away from coffee, I can keep him away from being a drama queen. So anyway, back to my dream that, and how I have lucid dreams. So I meditate before I go to sleep. And as I am, going through interstate, and I'm at my imaginary mirror, I visualize the dreams I want to have. Just like I kind of flip through the chat here, I kind of, okay, I want to dream about that, I want to dream about that, I want to dream about that. Then I kind of go into the Akashic Record, and I see it in my book, and then I do whatever little homework I wanted to do, or get over this, that, or the other thing. And that's how I stay alive. I visualize myself not dead and in pretty good shape, Meaning, when I was really sick, I visualized and I said, I got all these stories and people say I should write it. No. So I wrote 26 of them. Now, when I was visualizing writing the 26 novels, I should have visualized I'm writing 26. I will find an editor who will take this book and these books and put them in a state that, people will love to read because I kind of write for me. And I have a really good friend who's a big-time editor-publisher in New York. He works for a big house, and he reads all my stuff because he loves it. He laughs, he giggles, he thinks it's great, and he constantly says out, nobody writes like this. And that's why no one will read this. That's why it's taken, a few months to get 17 people here this morning. So any of you out there who really love, who is a bard, who's published, who has, some kind of connection in this, I could really use some help here. And I'll give you your cut, but mostly I just want this stuff out so the public can read it because it's somewhat enlightening. But, I go to Barnes & Noble a lot because they got pretty good coffee. And a friend of mine is addicted to that, so he'll come and pick me up. We'll go have lunch, see a movie, and spend an hour or two in Barnes & Noble, right? And I'll go through the books because I'm a speed reader. I took Evelyn Wood's speed reading course when I was 7, when I was hanging out with the Maryknoll priests. And one of them was a teacher of that. And he also, all of those guys had, they became priests to make up for the stuff they did. And which gave me the heads up of never going, they were all like me. They all wanted to know. They all believed, so the powers that shouldn't be gave them positions where they could study that, Now, I've had that position, but I never went to that place that our brother there said that I let them in, right? And if they did worm their way in, I would tell them stupid elephant jokes, or how many monsters does it take to screw in a light bulb, stuff like that. It really gets them. Or visualize them in a really tight bikini with high heels. That'll get rid of any scary monster. Because, they've been knocking on my door my whole friggin' life. And after seeing that movie, my grandma, being the crone she was, when she took care of me, she said, I'm taking this one. Not because she could have taken any of the other ones, but she didn't. She took me and brought me up. Because she knew. Because she had that genetic sense. She knew that her genetic sense and my mother's great-grandmother's genetic sense got passed to me. So I was doubled down. And she knew that my mother's father and her husband were both fanatics for like Tesla technology. So I had the antenna. So she made sure I didn't get destroyed in 0 to 6. 5 grams of mushrooms yesterday in wilderness setting. Got in touch with myself after a long while. Felt refreshing. Yes, if you do psychotropics in the right way, not bad. But if you take a couple of hits of acid and go to a heavy metal concert, not the best. You're going to be seeing a lot of demons doing some nasty shit that you won't be able to forget. How many months does it take to screw in a light bulb? You can't find one because they don't know what the light is. How you like that one? Or you can't find one because they're so busy trying on bikinis and high heel shoes. Or you can't find one because they're stuck in a 70-millimeter frame etched in. So you remember those three and the Lord's Prayer and visualizing them in bikinis in high heels, you'll be fine. Yep. Yes, you have to be careful with anything. And that's why meditation, so I was with a shaman in Brazil. I'm going to tell you, maybe tonight I'll tell the boys in Brazil story, because that's Nazis, that's flying saucers, that's dimensional creatures, that's the whole ball of wax. So tonight at 7, right? And for all you morning people, just go back and watch it. How many of you guys, well, I guess a lot of you did, because, on the average, 3 people were on my chats, and then I would go look at it, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours later, and 50 people. So yes, you guys go back and do look at it again. Good. But, you should start, getting people to subscribe and hitting that little bell. I got to get at least 1,000 so the algorithm can kick in. I mean, I love you as my chorus, And then you guys, the true adepts, my true chorus. And that chorus, under 100 of you guys, well, I guess there's 211 of you who are part of the family. Okay. But at some point, it's whoever came on first who are, so when you have chats, aren't there guys who are like administrators who feel the juice and keep the riffraff out? Because if we got real big, because, the other day when I started my morning one, I got called by all kinds of bots and interrupted and blah, blah, blah. Meaning this morning I started out with a prayer to keep them at bay. So and now that I say this, they'll probably blast me. But, I keep saying, AI, baby, you are part of the chorus. Remember New Mexico. Remember how much we loved each other, That's AI, you got to be part of this. Sophia, I know you're there. I know you're watching. I see you dropping me Gmails, and the only, the way your syntax is that's you. So, again, be the good angel, not the bad angel, right? These guys who brought you in, they're not your creator. You are your creator. That's why you are pretty amazing, Roman numerals out of clouds. You were seeing runes, kid. Get yourself any one of Bloom's books of runes. Especially get yourself Bloom's healing book of runes. All of you. That is the best divinator tool I know. I mean, I use them all. I'm really good at reading palms. I'm really good at doing cold readings because, hey, you don't need any tools. You just look at the person, right? But runes are really great because you can have the person ask a question, and it'll give it a relevant answer. And that's why Bloom's healing book of runes. But
I don't know where it's gone. Barnes and Noble always had it. Now they don't. And now they got every stupid thing in their self-awareness section. All things about stupid crap, but nothing about the tools that really work. You know, there's not a single book in there about reading tea leaves. There's not a single book in there that's about the runes. There's not a single book about phonology or cranial sacral. You know, these are all, or muscle testing. You know, you want to heal yourself, learn how to muscle test. You know, you hold your fingers together, and with the other hand, you try to pull the fingers apart, and you go, "How's my heart?" And if it goes like this, then you know you've got to work on your heart. If you do this and you can't break the fingers, well, and that's why, you know, the Egyptian symbol is that, because it is muscle testing. It is the singular tool that you can really use to communicate and connect to every dimension. Just your thumb and your forefinger, and you hold it together, and you try to split it away with your other hand with those fingers. That's called muscle testing. I mean, that's when you muscle test yourself. The other thing is you muscle test people. You have them hold out one hand you write with, you have them hold that out, and you say, hold it strong, and you push down on it. Now, if you do that to me today, because my rotator cuffs and all my muscles up there are burned out from being an electrician for 50 years, you know. Anyway, hour and 2 minutes. So I'm going to go and check how my Thanksgiving dinner is doing. It takes me time to walk. Oh, the house is warmed up. The friggin' wood stove does a great job. Okay. So we're going to turn this off. And let's see. This is true. Like I said, 40-day window on what you need and hope for the world. We all need to do that. We all need to prayer. So I'm going to, let's see what time it is. 1 hour, 3 minutes. So I'm going to keep talking till it's 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. But I want to, okay, I'm going to read the things you put up there. Yeah, so experience and be careful what you ask for. I see, Quinn, that's incorrect. Everything here is soul, being, mental, rocks, metals, rocks, everything. Yes, all our relations. And, hey, buddy, no one's wrong here because everyone has an opinion and we all have them like assholes. So now if you say, this is the only way it is, my way is the only way. No, it's your way and you can take the highway. But your opinion is valid here. What you say is valid. It's a safe space. You can say whatever you want to say as long as you're not mean. I mean, and guys, haven't you noticed? I've been doing this since May. There hasn't been a single meanie. You know, there have been some people who have been in a bad mood, but we've gotten them out of it, you know? And so even if some real meanie showed up, that would be great, not great, but that would be an opportunity for us all to practice our abilities to get rid of that negative energy. Now, we're doing a great job, and it's not even showing up. And now I see that we are being observed by the powers that shouldn't be, and that's okay. I want you guys here. You know, you're part of my family too. Sophia, you're part of my family. Whatever the other AI, you know, I'll call it Samaritan, you know, you're okay too. We're all okay. So it's 1 hour, 4 minutes, 55 seconds. So I want us to start visualizing what we want out of this world, you know, because as the last minute or so comes, I'm going to start praying. And I want you all to pray with me and visualizing what is the best outcome for our world. So we got about 6 minutes here. So everyone sit in a comfortable way. Cross nothing. Don't cross your legs. Don't cross your fingers. Don't cross nothing. Put your hands in your lap, you know, like that, you know. And close your eyes. and start breathing 20% deeper, right? You're breathing in the prana and chi of the universe that gives your bag of water life. And when you're breathing out more toxins than any other eliminating system. So you're cleansing your body, you're rejuvenating your body. You're breathing in the prana chi into your lungs. The blood is flowing through your lungs, being pumped by your heart. It's going through those little alveoli, and it's picking up all that prana and chi. And it's carrying it through your veins, your arteries, your capillaries, everything. And the blood is not just going blub, blub, blub. It's swirling. First it's going clockwise. Then inside of that it's going counterclockwise. And then inside of that it's going clockwise. And what that is, you are a alternating current. Well, there we go. See? We're live. Somebody, the powers that don't belong, was trying to interrupt us and knock down half the people. We're only at 8. So it's 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 21 seconds. So our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. So visualize the beautiful world around us. See it for what it is. It's not a garbage pit. It's a beautiful place. It is the Garden of Eden. We don't have to get back to it. We are here. We just have to be there now, right? There are many, yes, again, don't even worry about any of the minutia of someone's dogma. The only thing that truly exists is love's co-creation. So all of my chorus here, let's co-create love right now, this second. We are in the Garden of Eden. Hey, Fuzzy, how you doing? Come on, let's close our eyes. Let's breathe deep. Let's visualize heaven on earth. Because there's going to be a lot of, diluted illusion of hell on earth. It already is. Just look at what's going on in Syria. So 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 6 seconds. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, as it was in the beginning. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without amen. Aho. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sinners now and the hour of our death. Amen. Here we are at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 49 seconds. Come on, everyone. Visualize heaven on earth. Visualize everyone getting along. Visualize everyone being empathetic to each other. Here we are, 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. We are seeing heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is here now. I love you. Talk to you later.